Hi, my name is Daniel. Most people call me Dan. I wanted to make a video, or actually maybe a few videos, for those new to shooting or new to IDPA style shooting, competitive shooting. IDPA for those thinking about getting into it or maybe brand new. It's very fun. A lot of welcoming people that are at the matches. Really gives you that real world practice besides military style training. It's the closest thing I think to giving you that real world practice, because you're under the clock. You've got some pressure on you. You got people watching you, so you got those nerves there. But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I am new to IDPA. I've been shooting regular, just point aim shooting, collecting firearms for around 12 years. I just started shooting IDPA earlier this year. So I'll go ahead and say now, I'm not a professional trainer. I'm by no means a professional sponsored competitive shooter. I'm new to this. I wanted this series or video to be more of a give and take. Tell me what you think, give me feedback on what you do, what works for you. I'm a big advocate on doing what works for you. There's a lot of trainers, good trainers, a lot of good videos too, that talk about doing things a certain way. I like to try different things and then do what works for me. Sometimes what worked for me, a lot of trainers don't recommend, as long as it's safe. So I'm big on really doing what works for you. So I'll show you what I've tried and what works for me. I'm still learning, so this is kind of, like I said, a give and take, showing you what I'm learning as I'm learning. This video I wanted to be about grip. So first things first, safety. I'm very big on safety. So before you start handling your firearm, practicing, running drills, safety first. First things first, make sure we have no ammo on us. And you want to clear your weapon. I like to check and make sure I don't have a mag in there. Wrap it a few times. Pull the trigger. After a couple more times, pull the trigger. Then always finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So like I said, do this video about grip. I'd like to do others to show what I'm learning. Just let me know what you think. So I'm starting with my dominant hand, which is my right hand. For you, it may be your left hand. For me, my left hand's my sport hand. So we'll start with dominant hand first. I like to start with getting the bottom right part of my palm here, right on the lower spine of that grip. Rock it forward and try to get the top of that grip just right in between, evenly in between my forefinger and thumb, just like that. And then I want to get as high up on the grip. I like to get as high up on the grip as possible. That really seems to help me. And again, finger off the trigger. And wrap my fingers around just like that. And here, I like to keep my thumbs forward. I always like to keep my thumbs forward towards the target, what I'm aiming at. I've seen some, out here. That's fine if that works for you. Sport hand, I like to take the palm and put it in this open part of the grip, right there. And I wrap my fingers around. Both thumbs, again, forward. My support hand thumb, I like to have up against the lower part of my gun, and then the top, my dominant hand thumb, I like to not up against the grip, not up against the gun, but just laying on top of my other thumb, but still forward towards the target. The reason I did try, up against the gun, what I found, which I'm sure a lot have too, is when you've got your dominant hand thumb up against the grip, there's a high chance you could hit that slide stop when you go back into slide lock, which when you're shooting IDPA style or competitive shooting, can actually cost you some time. You hit that slide stop before you're ready, and now you gotta rack the gun. So it can just cost you a little bit of time, in my opinion, or you can just get fast at racking the gun. I guess whatever works. So thumbs forward. my support thumb up against the lower part of the gun, dominant thumb just laying on top of the other thumb, still forward. And if you come around to the other side, now this is where I've seen trainers and teachers show a couple different ways. A lot I found will suggest putting your pointing finger on top of your thumb. On top of your middle finger, your dominant hand, like that, which is great. I'm sure it works for a lot of people. For me, I find that it causes me to strain a lot more. And I feel like you want to be relaxed when you're shooting. So I like to have it right on top of that middle finger, just like that. It's just, I mean, if this works for you, great. Here, for me, it's better. Anything lower than that, I just feel like it's not doing a whole lot. I mean, if you're down here, you know, your gun's flipping, it's really not doing much of anything down there. But hey, if it works for you, I guess it works for you. But anything maybe up here, I think is probably best. Again, whatever works for you. As far as grip pressure, I've had trainers or taken a few classes and watched videos, and I've had it described different ways. I've had trainers tell me you want your support hand to be grip as tight as you possibly can, and maybe 5-10% with your dominant hand, barely holding onto the gun, putting all the pressure into your support hand, so you still have free range of that trigger. Which is fine, that makes sense. I've had them describe it as using shaking hands as an analogy, using your support hand, pretend you're shaking a man's hand, with your dominant hand, pretend you're shaking a lady's hand. I've had it described 60-70% with your support hand, 30-40% grip with your dominant hand. For me, I actually like to grip both my dominant and support hand with even pressure, and I'm squeezing probably 70% as hard as I can go. And for me, I mean, I still, at this level at least, I still have free range of my trigger finger. Now, as I increase speed and try to increase accuracy, that might change. But for now, I like to grip both evenly and pretty tightly. Not completely, like I said, not 100%, but close. So to kind of quick overview, dominant hand, base of the palm, up against the bottom part of the spine of the grip, rock it forward, high up in that grip as I can get, between my thumb and pointer finger. I wrap it around, thumb forward, support hand, base of my palm on the open part of that grip, wrapped around, again, thumbs forward. Pointer finger on top of that middle finger is the way I like it. Works for me. If it doesn't work for you, try a few different ways. So now, as far as getting your grip aligned when you're drawing from your holster, I like to, and I'm not sure if this is something others is kind of standard or not. I've just found that it works, helps me. When I go to draw with my dominant hand, I really, like I said, want to get high up in that grip. So what I will actually do is, when I go to draw the gun, I will let my hand, you can probably see it better from up here. I will actually take, and when I go to grab the gun, I'm actually hitting on top of the almost on the back of the slide, and just kind of letting it fall in that grip. So that way I'm getting as high up in that curve as I can. Just kind of letting it fall right in there. That's how I like to do it. And what really works for me. As far as getting my support hand on the gun and lined up from drawing from my holster, if you've shot IDPA, you know that most of the time you're required to keep your hands down by your side before that buzzer. Sometimes they have you doing other things, but a lot of the times you've got to keep your hands down by your side. So what I'm doing when I'm going and pulling from my holster, I'm actually bringing, which may be standard again for a lot of people, I'm bringing both hands up. So I'm grabbing, as I'm bringing as I'm bringing my gun up, I'm actually bringing my other hand up as well. So when I go to push that gun out, I'm just letting my support hand follow it right onto the grip. And I mean, this takes, obviously you want to practice it, but that's what really works for me. Bring them both up and out, just like that. Again, these are just things that I found work for me. They may not work for you. Try it. Don't try it. Do a few different things, but let me know what you think. Any feedback, other things I could do better, let me know. Again, I want this to be more of a give and take. I'm not a professional trainer, say it again. I want to kind of show you what I'm learning as I'm learning. So let me know what you think. Thanks.